is happening, people? It is Brian Alsruhe, NEVERsate.com, and today we're talking about injuries. So absolutely overwhelmingly, a lot of people want to know how I've been doing my recovery and how I came back so quickly. Sure didn't feel very quick. Now, today is May 21st. It's not actually, but that's the magic of YouTube. Which, if you've been paying any attention, means that I am actually cleared by the doctor to start lifting weights as of today. Now, I'm gonna go over what he told me I should do, what I could do. I'm gonna go over what I actually did and what went well, what didn't go well, and all that kind of stuff. But first, I just wanna go over a very quick recap of my last year. Now, if you guys already know the story, you can kick forward probably about a minute. If you didn't, get ready, because there's gonna be a whirlwind. And to help illustrate my points, I drew myself on this whiteboard, and I'm gonna use markers to show you guys exactly what happened. Now, starting back in August of 2017, I started throwing up every day, all day, multiple times a day, and it has not stopped until this day. At that time, and still currently at this time, I had a broken toe, which has torn tendons and ligaments in my left foot, which definitely does hinder some of my stuff, but honestly, at this point, I am unwilling to get that thing fixed because I've already had 5 surgeries this year already, and I am not going for lucky number 6. Then fast forward a couple weeks, and we are in September, where I was preparing for nationals, which happens in November, and during that time, between all the stone of steel work that I was doing, along with some close grip bench pressing, and to be completely honest with you guys, the business was taking up a lot more of my time and a lot more of my attention. My training was definitely taking a back seat, and I just wasn't paying enough attention to what I was doing, so I ended up partially tearing my rotator cuff. That was probably the second week in September. No bueno. No bueno. But since Nationals was right around the corner, I was not going to try to get it fixed. I was just going to train through and try to compete at Nationals. Nationals came on November 21st, and I completely tore it off the bone. It was done. So after Nationals on November 21st, I had my first rotator cuff repair, and they said it was going to be a 6-month process before I would be released, which is May 21st today. Hooray! Surgery went really well. There was no problems, no complications at all. Everything seemed really, really good. Now, at that time, we were doing the expansion of the gym where we're doing this entire building right here. So during that time, it was pretty stressful because I wasn't allowed to pick my arm up or do anything with it. But that did not last very long. I'm gonna get more into that in the recovery time, but realize, guys, there was a lot going on. So a lot of my recovery at that time was nothing more than just using it like it was completely normal. I wasn't really lifting too much with it, but I was just using it like it was normal. Which brings us to mid-February is where things started getting a little bit fishy. So mid-February, at the incision point where they had gone in to do the rotator cuff, because of the surgery, the screws and the anchors that they used ended up giving me a bone marrow infection. So these people stuck things into me that gave me an infection that almost killed me. However, we did not know about it. So I got this big lump on the side of my shoulder, which was absolutely grotesque. And we tried sticking things inside of it. We tried cutting it open. Tried doing a whole lot of things, but absolutely nothing made a difference, and I had to get a second emergency surgery on February 1st. Yeah, February 1st. Now, second surgery was also a success. However, because of the infection, they decided to go in and stick a PICC line into my chest. Now, for those of you who have known me for any amount of time, you'll know that I'm afraid of needles, and the reason why I'm afraid of needles is because I'm afraid of catheters. Not so much the catheters go up your wiener, but the catheters go inside your veins. That scares me to absolute death, and it couldn't be much worse than that. So I woke up February 2nd, the morning after February 1st, where I had that second emergency surgery, and they told me that they were gonna have to stick a PICC line in my chest, and the only problem was that since I had just gotten surgery and I just came out of anesthesia, they couldn't stick me back under, so they're gonna have to do it while I was awake. It was like the worst thing ever. Also at this time, my vomiting decided to go from JV up to varsity, so I was doing it absolutely constantly. And since that vomiting, which is so much fun, started taking over my life, they decided to do more and more tests that looked a lot like this. Oh, this will be fun. Yeah, let's do a bunch of this. How about some of these? We'll do some of these too. Some of those tests have been fun. However, that wasn't that big of a deal because once they stuck that PICC line in my chest, I had 6 weeks where I was not allowed to leave my house. If I did leave my house, I had to wear a mask, and I looked pretty stupid in a mask, unless it's the black one, at which time I look like a ninja, which is really awesome. But I did not have black when I had a white one, so I hardly ever left my house. Which in reality was probably a blessing in disguise because the rate that I was going with doing the building expansion and helping people out and coaching and doing a little bit of lifting, I probably would have ended up hurting myself anyway. So I truly think that getting the bone marrow infection was a blessing in disguise and kept me down so I did not re-tear this rotator cuff. They told me at the beginning, if I re-tear this rotator cuff, I will have 15% of my arm, use of my arm for the rest of my life. 15's not that much. Which finally brings us back to March 10th, which is when I started the comeback series, and you guys have been watching me pretty much since then. I ended up getting the PICC line out March 15th. Very, very happy about that. That was a huge relief, but yeah, so I got back to training. So let me explain to you guys a little bit of what I was doing for recovery. Nothing. Really. So my doctor, who was a very good doctor, did an absolutely excellent job in repairing this rotator cuff. I asked him what I could do to help speed up the recovery, if I should do physical therapy, all those types of things. And he told me there is absolutely nothing that I can or should do. I should not be doing therapy. I should not be doing anything. He told me for months 1 through 3 after surgery, I should keep the sling on the entire time, and I can't pick up anything heavier than this. Because if I picked up anything heavier than 1 pound, I risk the injury, I risk the chance of tearing this again, and again, 50% of use for the rest of my life. Now, he got really, really drastic on the next 3 months. So months 1 to 3, I couldn't lift 1 pound. Months 3 through 6, I could lift 5 pounds. Now, I'm not a doctor. So I had some questions, and my questions were something along the lines of, so you're telling me at 5 months and 31 days, I can lift 5 pounds. But at 5 months and 32 days, I can do anything I want. He said, yeah. I said, well, that's stupid. Literally, we got in a yelling match in the middle of the doctor's office because to me, that is nowhere near progression. So my doctor, as good as he is at surgery, which by the way, Dave, you're getting surgery today, so I hope that is going well. But maybe they don't know quite as much about rehab, especially for athletes. So from March 10th to about May 10th, it has been about 2 months of lifting, and I've been able to work my way back up to a 350-pound overhead, a 710 squat, 675 deadlift, and a 400-pound Atlas stone over bar. So, the numbers are definitely coming back. Now, a lot of people want to know, how is that even possible? How do you come back so remarkably fast? It's been absolutely amazing, but not really. It looks kind of impressive from the outside, but when you compare it to an actual athlete's comeback, there are guys in the NFL who literally rip their Achilles tendon off of their leg, and 6 months later, they're back playing pro football at 380 pounds, running a 4.4 40. Mine has been okay. Compared to a normal person, this seems superhuman, but compared to an athlete, I'm doing all right. To be completely honest, I'm much further back than I would have been because I spent 6 weeks in my house sitting on my couch not being able to do anything because I had a blood barrier infection. 99% of the weights that I'm able to move this quickly coming back is because of number 1, my mentality, and number 2, because of muscle memory. Guys, I left near the top of my game. I was getting ready for the national championships. That makes me one of the top guys in the entire nation, so it's not like I'm a guy doing a desk job who works out twice a week, who goes in and gets rotator cuff surgery, and he's out for a very long time, right? The better shape that you're in when you go into surgery, the faster you're gonna come out of surgery. Number 2, every single person who has gotten to this level in the sport, who has been in the sport for any amount of time, or any type of real sport, I mean, I'm looking at 24 years in the sport, at that point in time, there are a lot of injuries. There have been a lot of times when I've started all the way back over at 0 with an empty bar, with everything. I've broken my back twice. I have done so many things to hurt myself, it is not even funny. But the best thing about the people who have hurt themselves and have come back from injuries is that they know exactly how to do it. If you've never been injured before, you've never had surgery, you've never had to come back from something where you're in a cast for 6 months or 9 months or whatever, it is a much different experience than somebody who has done this 10, 12 times throughout their life, because that person knows exactly how hard they need to push it. They know the discomfort that they're gonna feel. They know the mental challenges every single day, waking up, trying to do normal everyday things. All that stuff is not new to them. They already knew those challenges coming in, so they do not worry about those things. I can tell you right now, if you just got surgery done and you're sitting at home feeling sorry for yourself and treating yourself like a victim at all, you can tackle a month right there. If you're actually opening your mouth and verbally complaining to somebody else, you can go ahead and tackle on another month. Coming back from an injury is nothing more than waking up every single day and saying, I'm gonna focus on the next step in front of me. You do one thing to the next thing to the next thing, 1 minute in front of the other, 1 step in front of the other, 1 rep in front of the other. That is how coming back is done. You cannot look at the big picture. You look at the big picture, it's gonna get overwhelming, and you're gonna say, it's gonna be too hard, I'm not gonna do this. You need to stay focused on small goals that are directly right in front of your face, and before you know it, you're gonna walk a mile. I hope that made sense. As far as the actual recovery of what I did, so they told me to keep that sling on for pretty much forever. I don't know, I should probably still have it on. It stayed on for about 2 minutes. I wasn't stupid about it when I was in dangerous situations, like in public where someone's gonna hit me or someone's gonna run into me. I kept my sling on. Other than that, I didn't really like wearing the sling a whole lot. As far as what I actually did rehab-wise, I literally just tried to force my arm into positions that felt really, really terrible. And I pushed further than I wanted to, sooner than I want to. One of the biggest reasons why my lower body never got out of shape is because of this strap. You guys remember me doing all those strap deadlifts where it was hanging around my neck and the handspring squats and all those such things? Those did so much to help me. I also was taught from a very young age that if you baby anything, it's gonna take twice as long to heal. So when I was little playing football and stuff, I would go hurt myself and be limping around the house, and my dad would tell me to stop limping because the longer that I babied it, the longer it would take to heal, and I truly do believe that. So when I was doing my shoulder, I was hanging banners up, I was hanging flags up, I was moving stuff, I was spotting people, cleaning bars back up, putting up on racks, doing all of it with a rotator cuff that was not attached. But I didn't really feel like I had a choice because the gym expansion was going on in my business. If that went under, then I wasn't gonna be able to pay my bills. So you gotta do what you gotta do, and that ended up being an absolute terrific thing for me. The less that I acted like I was hurt and I just did normal everyday things, which I was not able to do for months, I just did those things and acted like it wasn't even a thought. Now that I'm back to lifting, I do not even think about my shoulder. When I get under something for an overhead press or a squat or a bench, whatever the case may be, the last thing in my mind is my shoulder. The first thing in my mind is my cues and doing my job. This does not even play into my mind thinking about re-injuring, thinking about doing anything like that. That doesn't even, it's not even a thought because I don't think about my shoulders being hurt because I never thought of it as being hurt. As soon as it was fixed, I was like, well, you gotta start using it. It's gonna have to happen anyway. It's not gonna fall off. Despite what everyone says. If you guys have ever watched videos of rotator cuff surgery while you're still out and they just got done sewing it, they literally put their feet against you and play tug of war with your arm to see how much weight it can actually withstand without tearing off. So knowing that, I thought I could get away with doing normal everyday things without any real problem, despite them being more than a pound. Come on, doc. And coming back from an injury is 1,000 times easier than getting there in the first place because you've already got a roadmap. You know exactly what it took to get there. I've been under the bar for 24 years. In 24 years, I know exactly what I need to do to make progress. I know what is too much. I know what is not enough. I've done it all. I've seen it all. I have enough experience that I still make pretty much every mistake that I can still possibly make. However, when it comes to doing things like rehabbing and coming back and learning how to build up, it's very easy for me as far as progression and just knowing when is too much and is not enough. And that literally just comes from experience. So that's all I did while I was working out, was just gauging and of course, turning to some of my training partners and saying, guys, what am I being stupid here? Am I biting off too much? Am I not biting off enough? You guys saw last set what it looked like. Having good training partners and good friends to turn to you who are honest with you, will not turn to you and be like, yeah, man, you totally got it, you should go for it. That guy's an idiot and that guy should not be your friend. But true, mature people can look at it and say, guy, that is not worth it. If you do that, you're gonna re-tear it, and I don't wanna see you do that because I care about you. If you have people like that in your life, definitely have them around when you're working out because that will help you make these decisions if you're not experienced enough to make them on your own. But when it comes to recovering from a big injury, it's just like anything else in life. It's all about your why. You need to create enough pain against not coming back so that coming back just seems like there's no other choice, right? So let's just say, for instance, you have a torn rotator cuff and you theoretically set up a situation where if you're not able to overhead press 200 pounds by the end of 6-month recovery, then your mom's gonna die. I don't know, I don't want your mom to die, man. Your puppy? No, you definitely don't want the puppy either. Anyway, you guys get the point. You just stick something that means a whole lot to you and you put it in a place and you say, I have a deadline. I cannot risk this deadline. If you can make that real enough in your mind, if your why is big enough, then the how just kind of takes care of itself. It is not that big of a deal. If you have, like I have goals of getting to Worlds and doing those things, that is a big enough why for me. That's gonna get me in the gym every single day. If you don't have a big enough why, then you're gonna struggle with motivation. Motivation is nothing more than excitement. Discipline is what makes you get up and you do the things again and again and you grind. That's what gets you close to your goals. Motivation is short-lived. That stuff never lasts at all. So I hope this video isn't motivating. I hope it's disciplining. Anyway, I'm only gonna say this once because you guys heard me say it 1,000 times, but once your goals become more important than your feelings and you truly embrace getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, the impossible shrinks substantially. The world truly does move out of the way of people who know where they're going, and I know exactly where I'm going. It is not that tough to make forward progress if you know where you're headed. And I truly do hope that many of you know exactly where you're going, whether it be come back from an injury or just going after your goals or getting college education or whatever it is. Just remember, you only get there one way, and that is paying attention to the thing right in front of your face, step by step, minute by minute, rep by rep. Every single rep counts. Everything needs to be intentional. You need to have your mind in it, you need to be present, and you need to actually be thinking about what you are truly doing at that time. That will make your progress go so much faster, no matter what it is in your life, guys. I just really hope that you guys decide where you want to be and you start moving towards it rather than just floundering, because floundering tends to get you in trouble and it doesn't really get you anywhere. But before I go any further, I just want to thank every single person at my gym who stuck with me, all the members who stayed with me, even through that time where I was gone forever. We lost some people, guys. It is what it is. But those of you who stayed, I thank you so much. To all of you on the channel who stayed through all of that time of there not being a lot of videos, and the videos that were there were all pretty much the same thing about my medical stuff. Thank you guys so much for staying. We lost a lot of people from there. The loyalty that people do not have absolutely astounds me because I'm an extremely loyal person. So for you guys to stay with me, it does mean an absolute ton. I thank you guys so much. And for all of you just who sent stuff to me, who sent me awesome emails, sent me letters, sent me cards, sent me stuff in the mail, it was just, I'm completely overwhelmed. You guys just did so much to help speed up my recovery, and I'm humbled, and it blows my mind. I'm speechless. I just want to say thank you to every single person, from my family to my wife to my gym family to all of you, just everyone. I could not have come back without all of your positivity and your support and your prayers and your well wishes and your thoughts, and just all of it just means so much to me, guys. And it fueled me every single time I step in the gym. So thank you so much for those. That said, I need some Q&A questions. So if you guys would not mind, it can be about this, it can be about injuries, it can be about the mental side of the game coming back, it can be about lifting, it can be about life, it can be about my favorite food. Talk about whatever you want. Leave some questions down in the comment section down below so that I can get back. I've not done a Q&A in a long time, so hopefully there'll be some good ones I will go through. Hopefully your question will get answered. I will go through as many as I possibly can. That'll be coming up. There are some other videos coming up this week, but until I see you then, yeah, that's how I normally end these things, right? Go out there, do something amazing with lives. Keep working hard, people. Be nice to each other. Heal up, and I'll see you guys then.